Hello guys, what's up? I'm Surush Designer. Welcome to another tutorial from the SketchUp and Enscape. Today we have some type of special training about rendering. Now I have this model on my SketchUp 3D software, as you can see, BMW M4. I'm gonna render it very realistic. So listen carefully to this lesson. Actually, this is the position and this is the floor of our modeling system. So I want to turn off their profile to make a little bit work easier on it. Actually, you can see the details, very realistic and simple. I'm gonna start with the Enscape. I click on it. So it depends on your hardware and performance, how it can run faster or easier. So Chaos part of the Chaos is the Enscape 3.4. So now I'm gonna come to this model like this. So I start with the save frame. As you can see, I come to the visual setting in here and the output system. I don't want the full HD. I create in the custom. So actually the highest quality we have is something about 200 2560 to the 1440. Now I'm gonna add these resolutions for my picture in here like this, and as you can see I want to change my camera position in here like that. Okay, and for example, if you want to create some type of portrait renders, you can use this system. But maybe why the screen is better for this job. So I come to this place and click on the ultra. So now it's much better. I think this type of position is good. At the first I'm gonna choose the sun position, something like this, and I have some type of cloudy weather. So I come to the sky option. I increase the density, variety, and cirrus amount to the highest I can, and change the latitude and longitude to achieve some cloudiest weather I can in the landscape like this. Rotation, we don't need it. And about the source, I want some type of white cube in the environment. At the atmosphere, I can decrease the sun brightness from 80% to the 40%, and decrease the night sky brightness to the 80%. Now I can play with the sun position like this. I think some type of number about 8 p.m. Sorry, 8 a.m. in the morning is good. Something like this. Now we don't need this type of things in here, and wind is 0. So I think a little bit like that is good, because I don't need any type of sun on my area. Now let's get started. I want to minimize my screen. I come to the SketchUp. Now I want to start with the Enscape material library. So we have different type of materials in here, but we don't know how we can match it with the model. So I'm gonna use SketchUp in here. I come to the in model materials and click on the sample paint in here, and I start with the main body. So it's called material 23. You can change the color very simple and easy. For example, we have some type of black BMW in here, or white smoke. You can change the colors, every type of things you want. I come to the advanced colors, and I want, for example, some type of color, maybe something like blue, maybe not bad, and change it to the some color like this. Actually, the colors of the car's body have the high reflection because it's the metal. So I decrease the roughness. As you can see, we can see the reflections on our car's body. And if I increase the Metallica, so you can see it's really incredible. But when we set it on the 100, it's not very realistic and we must to control it. Maybe something about, for example, 66 is good, and I can increase the roughness about 6% or a little bit higher about 16%. As you can see now we have the reflections on the body, and now I can change the color, for example, to the black or some type of color like this. Okay, let's get for the another part of the car. I think another part is the car's glass. So I click on it. Actually, name of the material called window 1. So I can change the color of it, every type of things I want. For example, something like maybe gray. And now in the transparency, I can increase the opacity. You can see on the screen, but we don't need it. So I think something about 20 is good. Reflection in disk. If I want to increase it, actually, you can see the shadow sharpness on it much realistic than the past. I think some number about 1.8 is good. Tint color is the color of the shadows. Now I want to some type of fire brick on it, but maybe it's not really set with our model. I choose the white smoke, and in the colors I choose the white smoke too. Now it's much better. So I click on the sample paint again. Now I want to set some type of material for the car's roof. I click on it. It's the carbon texture. I come to the Enscape material editor. In the Enscape environment, I can go a little bit to the nearby. Actually, carbon is the type of the maybe a metal. So I can decrease the roughness as I can, something like that, and increase the Metallica. But I can change the color. For example, if I invert it, it's go to the white, but it's not set with our car's model. So now we can use tint color, for example, something like that, and or maybe we can change it like this. We can reduce the image fade to the 90%, and now we can change it on the advanced color, something like this, and it's really realistic, guys. Now I come to set some another material for the frames. Maybe I click on it and click on that window 3. I come to the Enscape material editor. Another time I click it and press it. So I want to reduce the roughness, something like this, and increase the Metallica and the specular. So let's talk about the body kit and lights. I'm gonna select these materials from the sample paint in here. In this place we have the body kit material 17. I come to the Enscape material. If I increase or change the color, I can see the differences. For example, something about white, maybe not bad, but it's not very good for our model. So maybe something about gray, or in the advanced color I can change it to the some color nearby my main model. So I can decrease the roughness and increase the metallic a little bit and increase the specular. So I click on the sample paint again. Now I want to talk about, for example, logo. I click on it. I come to the Enscape material library and make it much reflector than the past, and you can change the color too, for example something like this, the original color. And now I come to the sample paint again and increase the Metallica and click on it. Now we have this type of things in here and called T. I come to the material editor in the Enscape, something like that. And I want to reduce the roughness. As you can see, we have the higher reflection in here. And click on it. For example, this body, Chrome 9. Actually, it's the Metallica, and the Metallica is about 100%. And only work I want to do is increase the roughness a little bit, something like that. And I think it's really good. So let's talk about the rings. For this reason, I can change the sun position like that to see the rings changes. So I'm gonna click on the sample paint again, like that, and select these things, color something about color M8, and I can change the color to the white, for example, something like this, and make it much realistic and increase the Metallica, as you can see, something like that. And another work I can do is about the tires. I click on the tires in here, MAT FF2, and MAT FF2 is selected in here. You can change the tires color a little bit lighter than the past, something like this. And actually color of the tires don't have any reflection, and if I want to reduce it, actually it's not realistic. So I'm gonna save it on something like that, because tires is dirty and no Metallica. I can increase the specular to see the much better reason in here, like this. About the colors body, maybe some type of gray is good, so I come back to my model, and for this time I select body again and change the color to the gray. Now it's much better than the past. And do this for the body kit. I click on it and change it to the gray again. Now it's much better. So only thing we have to do is about some type of other things, for example lights. You can turn on the lights very simple and easy with the Enscape options. So I click on this sample paint again, I come to my model, now I select on that color BI. If you want to see that what you select on your model, you can change the color suddenly, and you can see you can set this type of color for it. For example, white is good, or black, as you can see, and you can change the type of it to the self illumination. And if you increase it, you can set the light for it or not, but I don't suggest it in here, so I change it to the generic. And I want to some frosted glass in here, and opacity is about 50%. Reflective index is about, for example, actually you can see if I want to zoom on it, look at inside of the light. If I decrease the refractive index, actually we can see the things much far than the camera, and if I increase it, it come to the near to the camera. So it depends on your project. For example, for interior designs, if you want to render from the outside, you can play with this type of parameters in here. And I want tint color is about white, and specular is about 40. So as you can see, it's really good. You can see the cloud reflection and the light again. And now I come to the sample paint again. I click on it. Now I maximize my 3D screen here. I want to select these lights in here, material, and I want to reduce the roughness to see much reflection on my model, very realistic and simple. So the color is about maybe silver, and I come to the Enscape, as you can see, it's really good. So what about the floor? So the floor is the type of the concert and very simple and easy, but I want to try it again. I click on it, minimize the screen, click on the floor option, and skip material editor. And for example, maybe this type of thing is good. I can change it in the materials by rotating them. Maybe rotating is not bad in here. For example, rotate about 45 degree and change the widths and heights like that. And the tint color is about white again. I can change the image weight to the 94 and make it a little bit to the white again. Now I can change the roughness and make much reflection on my floor, something like 20%, and make Metallica about 4%, Specular about 74. Now I think it's really good, guys, and let's talk about the backside of the car, maybe about the lights. I want to increase the light reflection again. So in the SketchUp model, I come to the backside of the car and choose sample paint again and press on it. Now, if I want to increase the roughness, you can see some type of ray tracing on the lights. And I want to increase the aspect ratio about 66. And I think everything is done in here. And we don't need to change it again. But about the car's reflection, I think we can make it much metallica than it. So I click it on the body again, and in the Enscape material editor I want to decrease the roughness to the 4% and increase the metallica to the 87%. As you can see, now it's much better. So this is our car rendering and modeling, very easy and simple. So now I want to make some type of render of it, and I think this type of, maybe, yes, maybe this type of thing is good. Okay, now I want to press F on my keyboard. I want to create some type of view in the Enscape. The name is good. I set it as your favorite. Something like this. A little bit like that. Alright. Now I want to set this type of positions with my hand, about 10490, 0.6, and 6.4. The pitch is about 0, or maybe 6 degrees good, and the eye is about 90 degree, or maybe 92 is good, and create my frame. So now I come to the visual setting. In the SketchUp window, I want to close the Enscape material editor. So I only now work with the Enscape window in here. I close this window and something like this. I press F on my keyboard and I press Edit Enscape 3.3 like that. I want to change pitch about 6.7 and the eye is about 95. Now it's good. I save it. I close it. Now I come to the visual setting. If I change it to the 2-point perspective, actually it's much realistic than the past. So it's good for this reason. We don't need any type of outline. At first I'm going to set my main light with the sun position. For example, a little bit we need some type of sun in here, and we can change the sun position like this. So I want to use field of view, and now we have this type of reason in here, very realistic. And guys, like and subscribe, don't forget it. Please support us. And now I want to zoom a little bit on my model, about 40. And if I increase the exposure, I have brighter screen than the past, and if I decrease it, actually it's get darker. But I think 56 is good. Don't work with the render quality, it's for the last measure in here. If I check the auto contrast, Enscape intelligence managing work with this. But if I decrease the highlights, actually on the car's body, we can see some type of light sources much lower than the past. And if I increase it, actually these type of things we have in here. So I set it on the 36. And about the shadows, if I increase the shadows, actually we have black sides on our picture again, but it's not very realistic. Maybe something about -58 is good. About the saturation, if I increase the saturation, actually we have some type of colorized render, something like this, but maybe it's not very realistic in this case. And you can change it to the black and white like that, but it's not realistic too. I think 110 is good. If we want some type of cold color, we can increase the color temperature and your screen go to the blue color. But if you want some type of warm color, actually you decrease the color temperature and you can see the result. So I think maybe 8500 is good. Motion blur is about the animation and we don't need it in here. And lens flare. If I want to change the lens flare, if I increase it, actually I have some type of these things on my screen and maybe it's really useful in here. I set it on the 76. Bloom is about 0. I don't need it. And I want to increase the vignette about 46. And chromatic abbreviation. Actually, we don't see all of the lines in the real world like that. So if you increase the chromatic abbreviation, you can see different type of colors on your model, but it's not useful in here. I reduce it to the 12. I come to the atmosphere. I want to decrease the fog again or something like that, about 20%, and set it to the 66 meter. Some brightness and shadow sharpness. If I look at this place, if I increase the shadow sharpness, actually we have some type of sharp lines about the shadow, and if I decrease it, we have some type of hollow of it. Artificial light brightness is really useful, so I increase it as I can. For example, 144 is good, and the ambient brightness is about 54. So sky is good, and about the output, I don't have anything to say. So this type of thing is really great for our rendering, some type of camera like this. Now I press F again, and I don't need to edit it again. Everything is good in here. So I minimize my screen. I open the Enscape material editor. I come to the sample paint again. I click on the body for the last check. I want to see it's good or not. Maybe black is not bad in here, but I prefer to use this color. So roughness, if I increase the roughness, actually we have this type of color on our model. Like that, not very realistic. And if I want some type of matte color, actually we can hold roughness about some number about 20. And if I increase the Metallica, actually our color go to the darker side. So I think 77 is good. And roughness about 23.4. And Metallica is about 77.6. And now we have much better result on our model. So this type of windows is not really realistic. I'm going to check it again. I click on this type of windows here, and opacity is a little bit down to the 9.7, and reflection disk is about 1.84. Tint color is about gray, and the color is about gray too. So we create this type of render with the Enscape 3.4, very simple and easy and very realistic. Only thing we had to do is about the rendering, but the main thing we have in here I don't tell to you. So I want to focus on this model and make this environment much blurred than the past. So I click on the visual setting, I come to the image, and I want to decrease the vignette about 27. Now I want to come to the main option and change the depth of field and turn off the autofocus. Actually, we have the depth of field and focal point in here, and I want some type of things much realistic. For example, I want to show this model. So this place is good, 4.7, and maybe if I increase it much, it's not realistic, but I must control it something about maybe 7% is good. So I change the quality to the ultra and I minimize it. I come to the SketchUp model in here. So I click on it. I come to the paint bucket, soften edges, double click on it, select all of them, and double click on it again, soften coplanars, and increase the smooth to the 180 and come to the 3D model. As you can see, it's really realistic than the past. So now I want to render of it. I click on the batch rendering. I want to select Enscape Sim1 and render image. So I think everything is good. I press cancel. It's about the ultra and I think it's good. I call this file BMW M4 and I press save. Actually, you can do lots of works with Enscape 3.4 with SketchUp, very simple and easy. It's much helpful in different type of projects. As you can see, we can create this type of realistic renders very simple and easy, maybe lower than 20 minutes. I hope you enjoyed this video. We can see this render together again. So I'm gonna click on the document, I think, and we have the BMW in here. I come to this place, batch render pictures. So I open it. As you can see, this is our render from the model. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe, don't forget it, and goodbye.